Hi guys, and welcome to my March TBR game. So let me just tell you, I will do a separate wrap-up video to tell you what books I was able to read for my February game and what I was not. What I am, I'm just trying to get in my notebook to my prompts. So what I will tell you, okay, I ended up with, if you recall, a total of 16 prompts. Yeah, I did not complete my February game, so I will be taking a punishment out of my to be read thing. We'll do that in just a minute. I completed 5 books. Now, I am almost done with Royal Assassin. It is on my TBR, isn't it? Where is it? Yes. This is on my TBR to read a sequel, which is from on my game, it was the YouTube prompt, and I ended up getting Kaylani from, oh, I'm blanking on her channel name, Simply Kaylani or something like that. So I'm almost done with this one. I'm on page 465, and there's 641, so less than 200 pages left. I hope to finish this today. Today is the 20th? 19th? Something like that. I don't know. Where's my phone? Today's the 19th. It's Sunday the 19th. So I have, what do I have? I have 9 days left in the month. There is no way, out of completing 5 books, so 16 books, there's no way I'm going to read 11 books. Now that will go up to 7 once this is, or 6 once this is done. I also have on my reader, I am currently reading, I'm blanking, oh, The White City by Grace Hitchcock. I will finish this one. I'm about 40% of the way through that. So this one will be finished this month. So that'll put me up to 7 books. So, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with what I've read, but obviously I didn't read everything. I think what I'm going to do is the books, the stack of books I have not read are just right there. I think what I'll do is if I can fit them onto my March TBR, I will, but I'm not going to worry about it. They may just sit there, and I may just say I will try to get to them, and kind of like a roll over, but they're not required reads. I'll just get to them as I can type of a situation. That just means with doing it that way, which, you know, they'll roll over, but they're not mandatory reads unless there's one I really want to get to and can fit it in for a prompt for the next TBR game. That just means that's less books to read for other readathons that I've already picked the books for. For example, like my 40 before 40 and 12 classics to read in 12 months. That just kind of reduces my chances of possibly getting those done, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think if there's any housekeeping to do, so I will do a completely separate video for a February Catwalk TBR wrap-up. I will film that probably in a week, where I'll have 2 days left in the month after that, because the last day of February is on a Tuesday. So I'll either film that video on this next coming Monday or Sunday, so the last Sunday or Monday in February. So you'll know more of what I was able to read, but there's no way I'm going to finish all of these books. So I'll go ahead and take the punishment, just call it good. If by some miracle I do complete all of the books, then it's just an extra book to read, and, you know, that's it. But yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do the punishment, and then we'll move over to have the game set up and do the game. So, okay. So this is the punishment. And these are not like books I don't want to read or anything. It's just an extra book. So that does not get to go onto any of the prompts I get for my game. Okay. So this one, I don't know if you're really going to see it. There he goes. So this is Through the Magic Sunglasses by Mariia Manko, I'm guessing. I don't know anything about this one. Let me pull this up. It just does not sound familiar. So this is one that I won from Goodreads. So this was one of my Goodreads wins. So that'll be good to get that one read. I'm so behind on reading those. This, all it tells me is that it's fiction, and this one I think is on my Kindle. I don't think, yeah, so this is on my Kindle. So this will be an ebook read. And let me go ahead and tell you what this one is about, and then we'll move into the rest of the game. So the synopsis for Through the Magic Sunglasses states, when Mariia storms out of her boyfriend's Kiev apartment forever, she has no idea what is awaiting her. She is handed a pair of magic sunglasses by a mysterious cab driver on her way to Berlin. And what begins as a journey to get over her breakup turns out to be the adventure of her life. The sunglasses become her secret helper, always showing her an escape route as Mariia is chased by a trio of rich, vindictive women who want a compromising flash drive back from her, going from Berlin to Dusseldorf to Paris and then to Abu Dhabi and Ras Al Khaimah. Khaimah, that's the end of the sentence. Combining urban fiction and self-help with a dashing tale of adventure, Mariia Manko's Through the Magic Sunglasses is an enchanting story about independence, strength, and believing in yourself. So it does sound pretty good. I'm just, I don't know. I just forgot I had that one, which is easy to do. So this will become a priority read. Again, I cannot use this one on any TBR prompts. So, I mean, the only prompt I'll allow this one to go on to is if I do a readathon in the month of March. And if it fits that readathon's prompts, that's it. But any TBR prompts from my game, it cannot go on to. So it is an additional read, can't fit any of those prompts. So with that now being completed, let's go ahead and jump into the rest of the game. Okay, so we are generally do 5 rolls, which is what we'll do unless I get a double, then I add one on. But so the minimum I'll get is 5 books, but where I get a punishment for not completing my February TBR, we're already up to 6 books. Let me try and straighten that just a little. Okay, so what I do is I generate a number. Can I turn that? That's much better. Okay. So I can go start anywhere on 1 to 49. So I just kind of randomize where I'm going to start, and let's figure out where my starting place will be. I'm starting on number 14. All right, so I have my little cat here. 14 is right here. So that's my starting position, and here's the dice, and let's go ahead and go into roll number 1. So a 4 and a 3, so that is 7. I'm making sure I'm going the right way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a pretty fur coat, so a random color. I'm excited for that one. Okay, so we are going to add a mark to number 21 and add, find the prompt. Here we go, pretty fur coats, the first mark on that. So I have to get 10 marks on the prompt and 5 marks on the number to constitute an extra roll. So that takes care of number 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and decide on these books. So as you can see right there is a stack of books. Those are the books that I hope to get to another 1 or 2 or more by the end of February. I can't put those onto my March TBR because I don't know which ones I'm going to pick up. So I can start picking those up in March once I know what my TBR is, if it fits a readathon prompt that I might be doing, or I can just try to get them in on April TBR game. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, okay, so we've already gone over what the punishment is. So the first official prompt in the game is pretty fur coat. That's a random color. So I have this box of postcards. Each card has a color on it. I will find a way to keep the ones that I do separate. This is the first time we're busting into this to do that. I've already kind of shuffled these. So I'm going to draw a card, and then I have to pick a book that has this color on there. It does not have to be the majority of the color on the cover, but it has to be on there somewhere. I don't care if it's one little spot, like the color of one flower or the person's eyeball or something. So, okay, let's go with this one. Okay, so it's a green. Let me see what I can find that will fit this particular color. Okay, I'm gonna go with Matched by, as you can see, that's a pretty close color, and I'm sure it's in her dress. So yeah, I mean, this might be like, it looks like this is darker on the camera, but in person it looks like spot on. So Matched by Aly Condie. This is the start of a series. This one says, Cassia has always trusted the society's choices, and when her best friend appears on the matching screen, Cassia is certain he is the one, until she sees another face flash for an instant before the screen fades to black. Now she is faced with impossible choices, between Sander and Sky, between the only life she's known and the path no one dares follow, between perfection and passion. So I will keep this in here so that I know that this is the book that I picked for that color, and then I'll find a place to keep this card until I've gone through that whole deck. That could take a very, very long time. Okay. All right, roll number 2 is a 9, so 5 and a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Best in Show, so a book that I think has a beautiful cover. And I'm going to move Crookshanks there for a second so that you can see me mark number 30. Possibly, I marked number 30. There you go. Best in Show is right here. And there's that one. Now, as you can see, like on Clouder, there's 2 marks. There's actually 3, but 1 is scribbled out. That's because I had started to film this game and realized I didn't have my camera on to film, so I had to start over. So, which is perfectly fine. So yeah. All right, let me move Crookshanks back to Best in Show. Up next was Best in Show. And this is a book that I think has a beautiful cover. I'm going to go with A Wicked Magic by Sasha Lawrence. I love this cover. I love the simplicity of the design, of the color palette. I love the cat on the cover. So this one says, beware the magic in the Black Book. When Daniela and Liz stumbled on a way to transform themselves into witches, they didn't realize that magic had an agenda of its own. That every time the friends cast a spell, they were one step closer to disaster. If only they'd known, Johnny would never have been dragged away into the night in the claws of a horrifying creature. If only they'd known, Dan and Liz would still be best friends, same as they ever were, sad and lonely and stagnating in their small town. And Dan's new best friend, I'm not going to say the name of this because it is the same name as my device and it's going to freak out, but it's Alexa. So you can fill that in. Anyway, this person, they would be safe in LA, far away from the danger they've awoken. If only they'd known that the magic was wicked. If only. So that I am looking forward to, A Wicked Magic. And this, This, I remember being a complete cover buy. I saw this at Barnes & Noble one time on the tables that they have out in display, and I just could not resist. I loved this cover right from the moment I saw it. Okay, I do need to move Crookshanks just for a second, but I'll put him back. This is for roll number 3. And we've got a double. So I have 2 6s, so I'll be moving 12 spots, but we're adding on an extra book. And I'm going to put Crookshanks back there. Okay, moving 12 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Mealtime. So this is going to be a book that has food on the cover. So I'm going to move Crookshanks because that's spot number 42. So here's the book to mark. So number 42 finally gets a mark. Mealtime is right here, and that's the first mark on that one. Okay, prompt number let's see, that was prompt number 2. Okay, let's see. Prompt number 3. So this is now the 4th book because I had the punishment book, and then I'm doing, okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this roll number 3, I landed on Mealtime, and this is to read a book with food on the cover. I'm going to be nice to myself and do a graphic novel, and I'm going with Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I don't really know what this one is about. Let's see. It says every autumn all through high school they've worked together at the world's best pumpkin patch. They say goodbye every Halloween, and they've reunited every September 1st. But this Halloween is different. Josie and Deja are finally seniors. It's their last season at the patch, their last shift together, their last goodbye. Josie's ready to spend the whole night feeling melancholy about it. He's the melancholy type. But Deja has a plan. What if, instead of moping and instead of the usual slinging lima beans down at the succotash hut, they went out with a bang? They could see all the sights, taste all the snacks. Maybe Josie could even talk to that cute girl he's been mooning over for 3 years. What if their last shift was an adventure? So this is a graphic novel. I'm going this one because you can eat pumpkins, and there are pumpkins. There's pumpkins down here, there's a pumpkin here, and there's pumpkins on the back. So I'm going to be nice to myself because I don't know how many books I'm going to end up with. So be nice at times when I know that I can be nice to myself. Okay. All right. Next roll. This is number 4. A 6 and a 3. So we're moving 9 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, cat video. So this one, I don't add anything for this right now. This just means I have to pull a Booktuber who has a TBR game, and all of the prompts that they get on their game, I have to try to fulfill, which is what got me into trouble for February, but February is a shorter month. So oh, yeah. Okay, so that's on spot number 2. And that's cat videos. Oh, it's right here. I've got 2 marks on that one. This is my jar of booktubers that have games. Some people do it every other month. Some haven't posted for quite a while, so I will just go with their most recent. The most recent for a lot of them will be their February game, which is perfectly fine. So the first one I will be basing the next ones off of is this one. And this is Melanie, completely Melanie, Cards Against My TBR. Alright, so I have watched the TBR game for Melanie, whose channel is completely Melanie, and this was her Cards Against My TBR, which they're like cards from against humanity or something like that. She drew 5 cards. Unfortunately, 2 of the cards needed a double answer, which means an extra book. So instead of 5 books from Melanie's game, it's 7 books. So that's what I went with. So let's, and again, I know I've said it before, but I'll list Melanie's channel in the description box. Highly recommend checking it out. And as well as the February game that I went off of. So let's go ahead. And the first, this first one was, the prompt to go off was destroying a pair of underwear. I'm like, what the heck? And she had a point. There's so many ways to destroy a pair of underwear. I'm going with the horror route because in my mind, you can get so scared that you can poop or pee your pants and you've destroyed your underwear. So I'm going with a horror book. I'm going to go with The Iguana Project. This was written by Dale Arden. I went with this one mostly because it seems fairly short. It's over 200 pages. It is 236 pages. So it is on the shorter end. And I'm hoping to be able to get through it fairly quickly because I've got a lot of books. And again, I don't think I'm going to get through all of these books, but I'm going to try my darndest and do what I can. So this one says, lawyer Patrick Braudier, I don't know, had it all. The perfect life, wealth, beautiful wife, and children, until he got involved with the mafia. By the time he realizes his mistake, it's too late. There is no going back, and he's been warned. If he makes a misstep, he'll be paying in blood. With the hopes of keeping his family safe, he starts compiling secret records of all the mafia's dirty dealings in his safe at home. Patrick's wife refuses to hand over the documents and ends up brutally murdered. Years pass before he sees his chance to exact revenge. While on vacation, he meets a marine biologist who explains she is conducting cutting-edge research on iguanas for NASA. The iguana has the unique ability to stay underwater for an extraordinarily long time, and NASA hopes to harness a similar technique to send astronauts into deep space. Now, Patrick knows what he must do. Somehow, he must lure mafia members into seclusion, where he will induce iguana-like hibernation indefinitely. It's the ultimate payback, sending his enemies into their living graves. But will his plan work? How many mafia thugs will he catch in his sadistic net before he finds out? So, The Iguana Project by Dale Arden. Sounds pretty good and definitely a way to ruin your underwear. So, that's that one. The next prompt, this is one that had to have 2 of them. It says, you haven't truly lived until you've experienced blank and blank. So, each blank is a book. So, you haven't truly lived until you've experienced, I'm going with Frostheart and The Club at the same time. So, Frostheart, I know this has been making its round on BookTube, but I haven't read it yet. So this is by Jamie Littler. It is in the first, and I believe it's only a trilogy. It says, far out in the coldest part of the monster-infested snow sea, Ash waits for his missing parents with only his grumpy Yeti guardian for company. But when an accident reveals that Ash has amazing magical powers, he's whisked aboard the Frostheart, an explorer sleigh with a daring crew who need his help. Can they help Ash master his new powers and find his family? So, Frostheart by Jamie Littler. The Club. This was written by Ellery, Lloyd. This is a duo author combination. And this one, I read the other book by them, and I can't remember what it was off of the top of my head, but I really enjoyed the writing, so I got this one. It says, there's no place like home. The home group is a glamorous collection of celebrity members' clubs dotted across the globe, where the rich and famous can party hard and then crash out in its 5-star suites, far from the prying eyes of fans and the media. The most spectacular of all is Island Home, a closely guarded, ultra-luxurious resort just off the English coast, and its 3-day launch party is easily the most coveted A-list invite of the decade. But behind the scenes, tensions are at breaking point. The ambitious and expensive project has put the home group's CEO and his long-suffering team into their absolute limits. All of them have something to hide, and that's before the beautiful people with their own ugly secrets even set foot on the island. As tempers fray and behavior worsens, as things get more sinister by the hour and the body count piles up, some of the island home's members will begin to wish they'd never made the guest list, because at this club, if your name is on the list, you're not getting out. I think that sounds really good. So, and the other book, it says it right here, people like her. I like that, and it was a quick read, so I'm hoping this will be another quick read, because I'm definitely going to need it. All right, next up, the prompt that Melanie used or drew was, what's the gift that keeps on giving? Now this one's a chunker, but I hope it'll be quick. But the gift that keeps on giving is salvation. So I'm going with Salvation by Peter F. Hamilton. This one says, in the year 2204, humanity is expanding into the wider galaxy in leaps and bounds. Cutting-edge technology of linked jump gates has rendered most forms of transportation, including starships, virtually obsolete. Every place on Earth, every distant planet humankind has settled, is now merely a step away from any other. All seems wonderful until a crashed alien starship of unknown origin is found on a newly located world 89 light years from Earth, carrying a cargo as strange as it is horrifying. To assess the potential of the threat, a high-powered team is dispatched to investigate. One of them may not be all they seem. So, salvation is the gift that keeps on giving. So, going with that. Next up is, okay, a box that is conscious and wishes that it weren't a box. So I guess it's a box that's aware that it's a box, but wishes it weren't a box. So this one I had to rack my brain. I decided and settled on going with The Elite by Kiera Cass. This is the second one in the selection series, so I can't go much into this other than that these girls from different provinces, and the provinces, like, you're a 2, 3, 7, 6, 5. I think she's a 5. I don't remember, maybe a 4. But they go, all these girls are selected. They go to live in the palace, and the prince has to try to get to know these girls and decide who he wants to marry, so who will become the next queen. So this is book 2 in that. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one, so I do look forward to getting to the second book in this series. So the reason why I went with this is that they are aware she's aware she's in the situation, but that she's in, but wishes she weren't in the situation, and aware that she's a certain, before she gets moved to the palace, she's aware that she's a level, what is it, like a 5 or a 4, but wishes that she weren't, and that certain things didn't matter in this dystopian world. So that's how I think I'm going to make that fit. Next up, and this is the last card that she drew, and this is one that is a double, so you have to pick 2 books for this one, and it is Having Problems with Blank? Try Blank. So this one I'm going to be continuing the series that I just held up, which is the selection series, and so I'm going to go with Having Problems with the One, Try the Air. So that's what I'm going with. I think that works. And yeah, so I think that works. So that's all for Completely Melanie's cards against my TBR game. So the next official roll number 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah, so roll number 4. Okay, so a 6 and a 5, so we're moving 11 spots. Sorry, this just keeps shifting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Best in Show. This is spot number 13, so a beautiful cover. All right, so number 13 is right there, just at the very bottom of the screen. Best in Show. We are now up to 2 marks. Prompt number 4, I got Best in Show again, so a book with another beautiful cover. This one I am going to go with The Many Daughters of Afong Moy. I think this is very pretty. I also love the stenciled edges. This was written by Jamie Ford. This one says, Dorothy Moy breaks her own heart for a living. As Washington's former poet laureate, that's how she describes channeling her dissociative episodes and mental health struggles into her art. But when her 5-year-old daughter exhibits similar behavior and begins remembering things from the lives of their ancestors, Dorothy believes the past has truly come to haunt her. Fearing that her child is predestined to endure the same debilitating depression that has marked her own life, Dorothy seeks radical help. Through an experimental treatment designed to mitigate inherited trauma, Dorothy intimately connects with past generations of women in her family. Fei Moy, a nurse in China serving with the Flying Tigers. Zoe Moy, a student in England at a famous school with no rules. Lai King Moy, a girl quarantined in San Francisco during a plague pandemic. Greta Moy, a tech executive with a unique dating app. And Afong Moy, the first Chinese woman to set foot in America. As painful recollections affect her present life, Dorothy discovers that trauma isn't the only thing she's inherited. A stranger is searching for her in each time period, a stranger who's loved her through all of her genetic memories. Dorothy endeavors to break the cycle of pain and abandonment, to finally find peace for her daughter, and gain the love that has long been waiting, knowing she may pay the ultimate price. So I think this sounds good, and that is definitely a beautiful cover. So, roll number 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, roll number 5. Okay, we got another 11, so a 6 and a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nap time. So this is a book that is greater than or equal to 500 pages. So this is the one, let me move this so you can see with the Z's on there. And that's where we're at. Okay, so that is spot number 24. Yes. Okay, so that's on this side. Got 1 mark there. Nap time, we are up to 2 marks. All right, so I landed on nap time, and nap time is to read a book that is greater than or equal to 500 pages. So kind of long book. This particular book is chapter 23, ends on page 525. So it's just over 500 pages. I will be finishing a series. So I'm going to read Feedback by Mira Grant. Mira Grant is a pen name for Seanan McGuire. So if you like Seanan McGuire, maybe check out Mira Grant as well. I've tried reading under Seanan McGuire. I read the first book in the Wayward series, I think is what it was. I did not care for it, but I really like this series, this Newsflesh series. So this is the last book in the Newsflesh series called Feedback. It says, we had cured cancer, we had beaten the common cold, but in so doing we unleashed something horrifying and unstoppable. The infection spread, leaving those afflicted with a single uncontrollable impulse, feed. So they become zombies. And that's basically what it is. That's all I can read back here, because this is the last book in the series and I don't want to spoil anything. We do follow a brother and sister team known as the Masons. They work for news agencies, but for themselves, but they try to spread news and truth out there. So yeah, I'm excited for this because this is a zombie and I do like the zombie books. So there's that one. Is this going to be the final official roll from my game? So roll number 6. Yes, it is the final one because we have a 1 and a 2. So here, there you go. So we're moving 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. No, it is not the last official roll because now we have another booktuber I'm basing some books off of. That is the second one. This is going to be a big month. I think I'm going to have to end up with another punishment. What's the month after March? April. So, all right. Let me move Crookshanks out of the way. I'll put him back. That is spot number 27. So, mark on 27. And cat videos, we're up to 3 marks on that. Go ahead and pick the second one. And then I will pick the books, I'll watch their videos, and then I'll come back and tell you what books I picked for their prompts, what their prompts were, And then in the description box, I will list their channel and the game I went off of so you can go and see what books they picked for their prompts. So this next one is Whimsical Narratives. This channel, I like both of these. She does like a coffee, it's a little board game, and you can get like a coffee break and stuff like that. So that's fun to watch. So I will list both of these channels in the description box as well as the video. They both did a game for the month of February. So I'm going to go watch those. I'm going to write down the prompts, pick the books, and I'll come back, tell you what the prompts are and what my books are that I picked to fulfill the prompts. Again, I'll list these in the description box. So if you want to see what they picked and see them play their game, then obviously I highly recommend going and checking that out. Both channels are completely wonderfully fabulous. But let's go ahead and get into this. While I am watching these videos, I'm also going to charge my camera. So I have a little bit more juice to get through the rest of the video. So I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Let's go ahead and move into Kim's game. Her channel is Whimsical Narratives, and this is TBR Cafe. She did 5 rolls, and thankfully nothing ended up as a double. So I've got plenty of books. Let's see, the first one that she got she landed on was a book, and for this one it was to be a contemporary or a romance, and the prompt was something that was adapted for TV or film. This one I'm going with a book. Unfortunately, it is a little bit of a chunker of a book. It is thankfully not over 500 pages. It looks like it's 486. Yeah, 486 pages. I've seen the movie. I have not read the book. So there is a movie adaptation. I am going with How to Deal by Sarah Dessen. The movie adaptation, the main character is played by Mandy Moore. I really enjoy Mandy Moore's music, and I think she's a great actress. This one says, life, love, family, friends. Just when you think you've got everything figured out for yourself, things get turned upside down. Families change, lives end, new lives begin, and love sneaks up on you when you least expect it. The trick is finding that one person you can always count on, that one person who will throw out the rules and help you figure out how to deal with it all. Let's see. Here from the acclaimed author Sarah Dessen are 2 books about girls who stick together and manage to get it right. Okay, the 2 books that served as the inspiration for the new film, How to Deal. Okay. So the first one is Someone Like You, and then the next book is That Summer. So maybe I only need to read half of this book. But anyway, it's combined all into How to Deal. This is the movie cover tie-in. So that's what I'm going to go with, How to Deal by Sarah Dessen. Okay, the next roll, Kim landed on a coffee cup, and this prompt is Classic Monsters. And I am going with the classic book for a classic monster called Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I don't have a synopsis on this one, but Frankenstein is so very well known. I know this guy who, it's the doctor that is called Frankenstein. He is the one that creates the monster that people don't like, and there's a lot of movie adaptations. But yeah, so Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've been wanting to get to this one for a while. I'll definitely look for an audiobook to go with this, but it'll be good to get this one done. So Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Unfortunately, there is no synopsis on this book. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, she landed on a mood read. Thank goodness. For this one, I'm going to be kind to myself and let myself read a graphic novel. I'm going with Long Distance. This one was written by Mary Gardner. I love the artwork in this. Mary Gardner also had a book called, was it Fake Blood? Yes, Fake Blood, and that was also a middle grade. This is a middle grade, and I thoroughly enjoyed Fake Blood, so I'm looking forward to getting to Long Distance. This one says, when her parents decide it's time to pack up and leave her hometown of Portland, Oregon behind for boring Seattle, Washington, Vega is more than upset. She's downright miserable. Forced to leave her one and only best friend, Haley, behind, Vega is convinced she'll never make another friend again. To help her settle into her new life in Seattle, her parents send Vega off to a summer camp to meet new people. Except Vega is determined to get her old life back. But when her cell phone unexpectedly calls it quits and things at camp start getting stranger and stranger, Vega has no choice but to team up with her bunkmates to figure out what's going on. So, Long Distance. looking forward to that one. And that'll be a really quick read. All right, up next, the prompt was a coffee cup, and this is a book about witches. For this one, I'm going with an ebook. So I'll insert the image, and this one is the book number 2.5, so it's a novella, so a short read, thank goodness. But it's book number 2.5 in a Kitchen Witch Cozy Mystery series, and this is titled Have a Holly Haunted Christmas, written by Lynn Cahoon. This one, we're following Mia as the first book, she purchases an abandoned school. There's hauntings. She's a witch. She tries to put her magical ability into her cooking. She has a friend who is the sister of her ex-fiance, named Christina. So Christina helps Mia with her business, and Christina in the book is autistic, and you do find that out in either the very first, like the prequel novella, or book number 1. So I do like that is in there. And obviously with a cozy mystery, there's a dead body. In the first book, Mia is prime suspect number 1 because she's new in the town. And obviously she thinks the police aren't investigating well enough, so she inserts herself into the investigation to try and figure out what's going on. So, standard cozy mystery. And I look forward to it because I do love cozy mysteries. All right, and the last space that Kim landed on was a cupcake, and she went, which was for this one, a book box or an ARC backlist. So I decided to go with an ARC backlist because I do need to get through my ARCs, and I am going to go with a Brush with Love by Mazey Eddings. It says that this went on sale on March 1st of 2022. So we're coming up on a year. I have not read this yet. But I think this sounds sweet. This is a romance, so I'm wondering if it's going to be spicy. I don't know. It says Harper is anxiously and completely focused on becoming an oral surgeon when she crashes literally into Dan, a drop-dead gorgeous, heart on his scrubs sleeve dental student. Dan's willing to play by Harper's rules and be just friends. But as the two get to know each other better, trading feelings for feelings may prove to be more challenging than either expected. 3-hour extractions and decaying teeth, no problem. Falling in love, heart-wrenchingly painful. So it sounds cute, and I do like the cover. So that's the last book for that. And I'm hoping this is going to be the last official roll, because this is for, I'm trying to get the one for the double that we had, that I got at the beginning. So a 4 and a 2, at least it's not a double. I think we're safe. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is my name? So a random word. Okay, so that is spot number 33. So we're gonna mark that right there. And what is my name? Oh, this is the first mark for that one. Okay, so for this is the last, kind of last prompt. I need to get a random word. So, because I landed on what's my name, so you have to name your new pet. So I have up here, let me turn off my ring light. So I have a random word generator. As you can see, the word that's up here is flock. I'm going to generate it. We'll get a new word. Stain. Okay, so something that I can correlate with the word stain. Let me see what I can find, and then I'll come back and let you know. Okay, so for this one, it's going to be a bit of a stretch. I'm going to go with, I host a year-long readathon called Autism Reads, and the goal is to read a book that has autism representation each and every month. I'll have the Discord channel linked in the description box, so you can go and check it out if you would like to. The book for March is On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Duyvis? I don't know how to say it. So let me read the synopsis, and then I'll tell you how I am justifying it to fit stain. It says, January 29th, 2035. That's the day the comet is scheduled to hit. Denise and her mother and sister Iris have been assigned to a temporary shelter near their hometown of Amsterdam to wait out the blast. But Iris is nowhere to be found, and Denise is worried they won't reach the shelter in time. Then a last-minute encounter leads them to something better than a temporary shelter, a generation ship that's scheduled to leave Earth behind and colonize new worlds after the comet hits. But each passenger must have a practical skill to contribute. Since Denise is autistic, she fears that she'll never be allowed to stay. Can she obtain a spot before the ship takes flight? And when the future of the human race is at stake, whose lives matter most? So, a couple ways I'm going to try and make this fit is one, when you have something, because I remember feeling this, you feel like a stain on humanity in a way, like you're not worthwhile and you're garbage and crap and stuff like that. So psychologically, you can feel like a stain or a blot or something on humanity. And I am autistic and having that fear of not fitting in and stuff. And you can be a negative stain or a negative impact. I think that'll fit that way. The other way is this book is covered in rubble. And when you go through an explosion and are walking through having to find people or you're involved in this, your clothes can become stained from the soot and dirt that gets ground in as you're digging through the rubble and trying to survive and escape. So that's how I'm going to fit stain. Probably a bit of a stretch, but I think it works because I don't know how else to make any book fit that. So if you could pick a book that would fit the random word of stain, what book would you pick for that? Let me know in the comments. I have 2 ebooks, okay? So please keep that in mind. So that's 1, 2, so ebook, all of those on it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books from my Catwalk TBR game plus an ebook. So that's 7 there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So already up to 14 books because that's 7 books from Completely Melanie, from Completely Melanie's game. And then, what did I say we were at? So that's 14 because that's 7 and 7. So 14 plus my ebook for Kim's TBR Cafe puts me at 15. Plus 4 physical books, that's 19 books for March. Thankfully, it is a little bit longer than February, but so then these are the physical books. So that's it. Please wish me luck. I don't know how much of these I'm going to get to. I am expecting to start off April with a punishment, but that's not too bad. I won't be too heartbroken over that. But I'll read what I can, get through what I can. And this will just be a challenge and we'll see what I can do. So that is it for my March TBR. Let me know what you are most excited to get to in March. And again, I will put Melanie's and Kim's channels in the description box as well as their February games that I based that portion of my TBR game off of so that you can see what books they selected for their games. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.